So I'd like to introduce someone that has dedicated her life to being a champion for human rights all around the world. Suzanne Scholte is the president of the Defense Forum Foundation, a chairperson for the North Korea Freedom Foundation, as well as the chairperson for Free Radio Korea, which provides a lot of information and a lot of hope to our North Korean brothers and sisters. She's won a number of awards for her activism, including the Seoul Peace Prize and the Walter Judd Freedom Award. She is a staunch ally for KCC. She has been our partner for a number of years. I'm very excited to introduce her to join us again this year, Suzanne Scholte.
Woo! Suzanne! Woo-hoo! Well, it's always great to be with KCC. Now, the last 2 days, I've spoken a lot about the testimonies of North Koreans who've recently escaped, but for today's rally, I want to address the challenges the North Korean defectors have faced living under the previous Moon administration and what we can do to help them now to achieve the freedom of their homeland. The work of the North Korean defector NGOs is the key to ending the Kim regime peacefully and bringing about Korean unification. I'm also going to do some show and tell, and Johnny Park's going to help me, and announce the launch of another campaign for North Korea's freedom. First, it's important to remember the significance of President Yoon's election last year. South Korea's republic was in severe danger as the outgoing Moon administration was doing the bidding of the Kim Jong-un regime, depriving South Koreans of their civil and political rights and freedoms, and taking actions that actually caused the deaths of North Koreans, both in South Korea and in North Korea, when they forced fishermen back to their deaths. There was bipartisan concern here in the USA from both Democrats and Republicans that North Koreans were being repatriated to North Korea, not by China, but by South Korea, and that Koreans were being deprived of their civil liberties. North Korean escapees living in South Korea understood this deeply. To them, the last election in South Korea was life or death, and they worked their hearts out to see that a president who was elected who valued freedom and human rights. And thus, it was the North Korean escapees living in South Korea that gave Yoon the margin of victory in the closest presidential election in South Korea's history. The most important work that I've been involved in is a partnership with these same North Korean escapees. One example is Free North Korea Radio. It was actually Free North Korea Radio that delivered that silk portrait to Senator Cruz from two brothers in Pyongyang who risked their lives to make it out of appreciation for the messages Senator Cruz was sending, broadcasting on Free North Korea Radio.
Thank you, Suzanne!
It's a partnership between freedom-loving Americans and North Koreans that ensures that every morning and every evening there's programming of truth and hope to North Korea. Our motto is from the book of John. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. We are the #1 radio station, and we love RFA and VOA, all of them. We complement them, not compete. But our program is directed at the people of North Korea, especially the people in power in Pyongyang, that all that is desired for them is to have a life of hope instead of despair, to have freedom and human rights. Thus, we do everything in our power to get information into North Korea by land, by air, and by sea, by utilizing the perfectly successful routes established by North Korean defectors. The people of North Korea wake up in the morning with only 2 choices in their lives: being slaves devoted to Kim Jong-un or death. We must communicate to the people of North Korea the truth. The miracle on the Han that is South Korea can be the miracle of the Taedong in North Korea if they are simply given the chance to be free of the brutal slavery of the Kim Jong-un dictatorship. North Koreans were starting to learn these truths because we were winning the information campaign. That is why so many began escaping, not just for food, but for freedom, for a better life, to follow their dreams. But that is also why Kim Jong-un and his sister, Kim Yo-jong, demanded that the loudspeakers at the DMZ be turned off, and that the balloon launches and other methods of reaching the people of North Korea were stopped. Tragically, Moon complied with these demands, turning off the loudspeakers and enacting legislation in the Korean Assembly that made it illegal to do balloon and rice ball launches. This is the greatest indication that we were winning the information campaign, and that was why Kim Jong-un demanded these things. The loudspeakers at the DMZ reached 70% of North Korea's ground forces and 50% of their air and naval forces. They're all deploying within 100 kilometers of the DMZ. No wonder Kim regime wanted them taken down. We agree strongly with Kwon Young-se, South Korea's former unification minister, and other members of the Yoon administration that declared the anti-leafleting law is unconstitutional and violates South Korea's constitution, as well as its international covenant on civil and political rights, to which South Korea is a signatory. I want to read from that covenant. It provides that everyone shall have the right to freedom of expression. This right shall include freedom to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas of all kinds, regardless of frontiers, either orally, in writing, or in print, in the form of art, or through any other media of his choice. Despite the fact that they face 3 years imprisonment and $30,000 in fine because of this anti-lethal law, the North Korean defectors told me, we will never stop as long as we have the support to do this, and they have never stopped. Just like Sam Kim, our leader today, has said to you so many times in these last few days, we will never stop. We will never stop fighting for the refugees, the closure of the political camps, the orphans, the people of North Korea. As a result, North Korea, in addition to producing the daily broadcast of Free North Korea Radio, has carried out steady engagement projects, balloon, rice, and the newest technique, the water balloon launch. This new technique, the water balloon launch, includes balloons that float on the water, but they have the picture of Kim Jong-un on them, so the border guards can't fire on them. The highest ranking defector from North Korea, the creator of the Juche religion, Hwang Jan-yap, told us when he escaped that the Achilles heel of the regime was human rights, the knowledge of human rights. We must address these human rights concerns by spreading the truth to North Korea. When we don't put human rights first, we feed the lies of the regime, the propaganda that tells them that we're a threat to them. We have to break down the lies of the regime by telling the truth. So now I'm going to do a little show and tell. Johnny's going to help me. I want to show you the things that Kim Jong-un fears. These are the items that he fears the most. And these are the items that are being sent into North Korea regularly. Johnny's going to help me. The first, this is symbolic of a balloon launch, but he fears the balloon launches. He considered these missiles from South Korea. The balloon launches are being launched with medicine, with money. They're flash drives of information, and lately they've been sending in medicine and masks for the people of North Korea. The other thing they fear, K-pop music. You realize that you can be executed in North Korea for listening to South Korean K-pop music? Another thing they fear the real stories of the North Korean defectors that have been published. There's so many books out there that are available for reading by North Korean defectors, starting with Kang Chal-hwan's record of what happened in Yodok political prison camp, and then the most recent one by Song Min-han. Books by North Korean defectors, their testimonies. These North Korean defectors speaking out is a huge threat. Another thing they fear is the fact that we've been sending in U.S. $1 bills. A U.S. $1 bill, that can feed a North Korean family for a week. Also, rice bottles. We've been sending in rice bottles. These rice bottles can feed a North Korean family of 4 for a week. We've also been sending in radios. There's one model that we particularly like. It's solar-powered and hand-crankable. And this gives them access to be able to get outside information via shortwave radio. And then flash drives. There's very small flash drives in there. We've been sending these in. These have the messages of members of Congress. We had 24 members of Congress, including Senator Cruz, that sent messages to North Korea. The defectors in Free North Korea loved them so much they put them on flash drives, and we've been sending them in regularly. These flash drives have also included K-pop music, South Korean dramas, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But the thing that Kim Jong-un fears more than anything is the Bible. This is one example. There's a couple of them there of Bibles that have been sending in. The North Korean defectors believe in this book, and they've been sending them in regularly. So I want to announce that we're launching Operation Truth today. In conjunction with the Korean Church Coalition for North Korea's Freedom, because of your events this week, because you are their voice for freedom, and we want to honor what you are doing by making sure there is a never-ending support for these efforts. Because while the law remains unconstitutional in South Korea, it's up to us. Operation Truth is a stepped-up effort to give every American the opportunity to order what we call deliveries of these items to North Korea. We are very fearful that they are facing another arduous march. So we put together an information menu where people can order and deliver. These items will be delivered to North Korea because the truth will set them free. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. God bless you as you go to visit Capitol Hill today. Apuji, Chayubakan.
So actually, you know, Suzanne, we've been together since 2004 when Pastor Peter Sonin-Sheikh started the movement. She came at the LA Hilton when 2,500 pastors, remember we were praying out loud? Sam Brownback actually said, I thought the walls were going to cave in. And it did, because the North Korea Human Rights Act, which, what was it, like in March? Shan Wu said it'd be a miracle for it to passed on October 27, 2004. All right. And their KCC pastors were praying for 40 days and nights before for its passage. Today's event is put into all of us. If you look at our book list that we're going to members of Congress, it says, KCC, North Korea Freedom Coalition, we are doing this in partnership together. Look, your voices were heard. 90% of you that are out here today knew nothing about North Korea. For all you knew, North Korea was black, dark, and evil. But what did you learn? No. People in North Korea are blood-related brothers and sisters. They're aunties, cousins, grandpa, grandmas. We love the people who have no voice. That is why we are here to be their voice. Who joined us today? Let's thank Katie Porter, who was here earlier. Let's give her a shout. Woo! Who was here next after that? Young Kim. Young Kim is, and how many of you live in Young Kim's district?
Orange County.
And after that, Michelle Steele. I'm from Fullerton. She's my congresswoman. And after that, who was here? Senator Ted Cruz. Wasn't he powerful?
Yes.
Who escaped from communism. His parents were subject to communism. Did you know that he had a painting of someone painted by North Korea hanging on his wall? Wasn't that awesome? So he cares about it. But because you came here today, because you played your hearts out, he will remember that the KCC, North Korea Freedom Coalition, the U.S. Committee on Human Rights in North Korea, the U.S. Commission for Religious Freedom, by Dr. Abraham, who's the chairman, Rabbi Abraham Cooper, who will be here also, along with Greg. All of us together made this happen. And all of us here will continue to shout, continue to be the voice for the voiceless, until when? All of our suffering North Korean brothers and sisters are finally freed and are free to speak on their own. Amen?
Amen. Woo!